Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Sada Shiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryandam Vande Guru Paramparam. Oh. In our last satsanga, we had started studying Bhagavad Gita, and a very basic introduction of Bhagavad Gita is needed before entering into the proper study. Last time we have seen Bhagavad Gita as the essence of Veda, as a synthesis of yoga, and a practical guide in determining what is my dharma. At times of difficulties, when we cannot determine what is my dharma, what is to be done and what not to be done, when such a dilemma is there, how Gita acts as a practical guide showing the path, that we have seen. If anything more is required as an introduction, without hesitation you can ask, and if such a discussion happens, then we can go more and more deeper into that topic. Now we are coming to the text, that is Bhagavad Gita. This is a very small part of Mahabharata. There are 18 parvas in the Mahabharata, and within those 18 parvas, there are more than 100,000 shlokas. When we add Harivamsha, which is considered as the appendix part of Mahabharata, then the number of shlokas will come to 125,000. That is 1,25,000 shlokas. And Gita is a small piece of teaching consisting of only 700 shlokas. That means out of 1,25,000, Gita is only 700. But even though the size is that much, the teaching of the Gita, as it is the essence of Veda, it is considered as the most important part of Mahabharata. The sixth parva of Mahabharata is Bhishma Parva. The main subject matter of this parva is how the battle of Kurukshetra happened at the leadership of Bhishma. All the incidents connected with that fight that we can see in the Bhishma Parva. And in this Bhishma Parva, there are hundreds of chapters. I'm not remembering the exact number of chapters in the Bhishma Parva. Within that, 18 chapters, beginning with the 25th chapter. That part is called Bhagavad Gita. That is, chapter 25 of the Bhishma Parva is the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. 26th is the second, like that. And in the Mahabharata battle, this piece of conversation, that is a conversation between Dhritarashtra and Sanjaya, it comes on the 10th day of the battle. As Gita was taught on the very first day of the battle, many are thinking this is incorporated as a part of the first day's incident. No. This piece of teaching, or a conversation between Dhritarashtra and Sanjaya, it comes on the 10th day. How is it? If it was taught on the very first day, why it is incorporated in the text on the 10th day? Such a question may come. The answer is, see, Mahabharata battle was to start, and both the parties, that is Pandavas and Dhartarashtras, they got ready for the fight, and everything was getting ready in the battlefield. And it was then Vyasa Maharshi, he came to Dhritarashtra. And Dhritarashtra paid all respects. And he worshipped Vyasa. And Vyasa occupied a respectable seat. And at that time, Bhagavan Vedavyasa offered a boon to Dhritarashtra. What was that? With the help of that, Dhritarashtra can see each and every incident in the battlefield. What are happening in the battlefield, Dhritarashtra can see sitting in the palace. Such a special type of vision Vedavyasa offered. But Dhritarashtra was not ready for that. He was a blind man. There was no word for him in visuals. His world was without form. Because from the very birth itself, he was blind. So he thought, what to do with this special vision? I'm living all these years. I was here without eyesight. And now sage is offering a special vision. And what I have to see? What is impending for me? It is the death of my own children. Then I don't want that. He said to Vedavyasa, oh Lord, I don't want. I cannot see death of my children. And all these barriers. Because both the sides are my own children. All are alike for me. So I cannot see their death. They're fighting their death. It is terrible. I cannot. But see, when an offer came, he was reluctant to do away with that. So he asked Vedavyasa to give that special vision to his minister, Sanjaya. And Bhagavan Vedavyasa approved that. And he gave that special vision to Sanjaya, who was the minister of Dhritarashtra. Then we may ask, why? Why to Sanjaya? He was having perfect eyesight. Then what is the use with this vision, this special vision? The answer is very simple. Because the battle of Kurukshetra, it was a huge battlefield. The length of Kurukshetra battlefield was nearly 64 kilometers. And the breadth also 64 kilometers. So 64 kilometers into 64 kilometers. Lakhs and lakhs of warriors. Many, many things. So one cannot get a whole vision. Because our vision, that is limited. Human vision is limited. But with this special vision, one can see each and every happening. All the incidents happening in the battlefield, the whole battlefield. So that was the greatness of that vision. So Sanjaya got it. And there was a contract in between Sanjaya and Dhritarashtra that Sanjaya would come to the Dhritarashtra and explain what he sees. That was the contract. But when the battle started, Sanjaya was immersed in that. He was fully engrossed in that. So he didn't come to Dhritarashtra and give a narration. No running commentary was given. So days passed on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And on the 10th day, an incident happened. And everybody in the battlefield were shocked by that. What was that? It was the defeat of Bhishma. Bhishma fell down. Both the parties, everybody in the battlefield, and even celestial beings who were watching the battle, everybody were shocked seeing that. And then Sanjaya came running and he approached Dhritarashtra and he shouted, Bhishma fell down. Then Dhritarashtra, crying and shouting, he fell down on the ground. He was unconscious for some time. Then he woke up. He stood again. Then he asked, Oh Sanjaya, instead of telling this, please explain what happened. You narrate all the incidents from the very beginning. You are saying now that Bhishma fell. It is not proper. So you please explain what happened in the battlefield from the very beginning. So hearing this request from Dhritarashtra, Sanjaya started narrating all the incidents one by one from the very first day of the battle. And it was at this time, this piece of conversation between Sri Krishna and Arjuna, which is known by the name Bhagavad Gita, it was narrated. So this happened, this piece of conversation happened on the first day of the battle, and it was incorporated in the Mahabharata text on the 10th day. Yeah. And what was the circumstance? How this conversation between Sri Krishna and Arjuna happened? On this point, we have to focus our attention. Why? See, if it was a conversation between Sri Krishna and Arjuna, it happened 5,000 years back. This is Yugabda 5123. 5123rd year. This is that year. You add 36 to that. Then 5123 plus 36. According to some acharyas, we have to add 26. There is a difference of opinion. Some says after 26 years of Mahabharata battle, this Kali Yuga started. And some others are of the opinion that before the starting of Kali Yuga, it was about 36 years back. So a difference of 10 years is there. However, we can take it as 36 years. So 5,123 plus 36. So that much years back, this Mahabharata battle was fought. And it was then this conversation occurred. So what relevance it has? We are living in this era. How we may call this era, I don't know. Internet era or COVID era, I don't know what to call this. But what relevance a conversation has, which happened more than 51 centuries back? What is the relevance? There is no meaning in studying Bhagavad Gita because we are living in the modern world. These are that much primitive teaching. So to understand that, what is the importance of Bhagavad Gita and what relevance it has in our life, to know that, we have to have a clear picture regarding on what circumstance Gita was taught. And while analyzing that, we have to put ourselves in the place of Arjuna. Then only this teaching will enter into our heart. So we have to put ourselves in the position of Arjuna. And the set of problems, practical difficulties, which were with Arjuna, we have to connect with ourselves. Then only this teaching will enter directly into our heart. So for that, let us see what was the situation, on what circumstance this teaching was given. See, Mahabharata battle became inevitable. Pandavas tried their best to avoid such a battle. Shri Krishna himself went to the Dhritarashtra, the king, with a peace mission. But even Shri Krishna failed. So as per the rules of dharma, the battle became unavoidable. To establish dharma, it became inevitable. And both the parties, that is Pandavas and the Dhartarashtras, they approached as many kings and emperors as they can. And they got support from many kings, many emperors. And huge armies were ready for the battle. On one side, there was 11 Akshauhudis, and on the other, there were 7 Akshauhudis. And everybody was ready to fight. Now we can focus on Arjuna. See, it was Arjuna who invited largest number of kings and soldiers to their part. It was Arjuna who was instrumental in getting his side ready for the battle. It was Arjuna who invited even Sri Krishna. So he was ready for the battle in all the ways. And who was Arjuna? Arjuna was an Atiratha, one who can fight with 10,000 Maharathas. And who is a Maharatha? One can fight with 10,000 warriors, well equipped warriors. He is called a Maharatha. So Arjuna was an Atiratha. And he knew who were in his side and in the opposite side. He was ready to fight. And he was not a beginner in fighting. Many battles he did fight. Even with Paramashiva, he fought. And he got Pashupata as a boon from Paramashiva. So he was a great warrior, or the greatest warrior. And he well knew with whom he had to fight in this battle. But when he saw each and every person in both the sides personally, then that family affiliation, this is my brother, this is my preceptor, this is my father, this is my friend, this is my that relative, this relative, so many that family affiliations. All these are my people. These are my people. And I am theirs. This feeling came within. Actually, Arjuna knew all these things. But knowing is something, and facing face to face is something else. Then Arjuna was in a confusion. Slowly, that utter confusion, it took over the whole individuality of Arjuna. What was the problem with the Arjuna? See, in the case of Kshatriyas who are going to fight, they are not free at their own way. They have to obey dharma shastras. Even kings and emperors are not free. We may think a king is free, an emperor is free. No, they are bound by dharma shastras. As well said by Chanakya, Niti Shastra Anugo Raja. A king has to follow Niti Shastra. So he is not free. He must act, or he is supposed to act as per the injunctions of Dharma Shastras. So, see, what was the problem with Arjuna? In one Dharma Shastra, it is said, if you are a Kshatriya, you must kill Atatayis, those Atatayis who are coming in front of you. And who is an Atatayi? Agnido Veradashchaiva Shastrapati Dhanapah Kshetradara Harashchaiva Shadede Hyatatayi Agnidaha. The word meaning is one who is giving fire. But it is not one who is giving fire. One who is putting your house and properties in fire is Agnidaha. Then Garadaha. Garadaha, the word meaning is one who is giving us poison. The meaning is one who is mixing poison in your food, drinks, to kill you. Or one who is mixing poison in food items is Garadaha. Shastrapati, one who is attacking from back, not from the front side. Warriors will fight, and that fighting will be frontal fighting. But one who is attacking from back is Shastrapati. Dhanapaha, one who is stealing your properties and wealth, monies. One who is stealing your properties. Dhanapaha. Kshetradara Harashchaiva, one who is keeping your property under illegal possession is Kshetraharaha. And Daraharaha, one who is abducting your wife or women, is Daraharaha. So if somebody is committing these sins, then he is called an Atatai. So according to Dharma Shastra, it is the duty of the Kshatriya, it is the duty of the ruler to kill those Atatais. This is not a common man's duty. It is the duty of the government. It is the duty of the Kshatriyas. That is one smriti. And in another smriti it is said, Saeva papishtatamo ya kuryat kulanashi. One who is destroying one's own family is the greatest sinner in the world. One who is destroying one's own family. He is the greatest sinner. So this is another Dharma Shastra. So here, those around me are Atatais, Duryodhana and his brothers, and those who are fighting for him are Atatais. So I must kill them. I must fight with them. But they are my brothers. We are members of the one family, of the same family. So these two Dharma Shastras, they are at opposites. So what is the course of action I have to follow? Arjuna was unable to determine that. He was in utter confusion. When our intellect is not clear, and some waves of confusion are there within, then our mind will work in the opposite. It will project many things without a decision. Our mind will wander here and there. And this happened in the case of Arjuna. And see, it is very easy to teach Dharma Shastras to others, to give advice to others is very easy. Teaching others is the most easiest thing in the world. But when it comes in our life, when the epicenter of the problem is our own self, then it is not that much easy. See? This happened with Arjuna. This is a common problem we all are facing in the world. Of course, we are great teachers. We can teach others. We can give advice to others. We can counsel, this, that. This is not the way you have to act. This is the way you have to follow. We can teach others. But when the problem is our own problem, when it comes for us, it is not easy to face. And that is the practical difficulty in performing dharma. Veda says, dharmam chara. You perform dharma. You do dharma. Live a life according to dharma. This is the teaching of the Veda. Dharma is not something to teach. It is not something to profess, but to perform. It is not that much easy. Especially at times when our main dharma, it contradicts with other aspects of dharma. In Sanskrit, we call Mukhya Dharma and Gauna Dharma. Mukhya Dharma is dharma that is important, the main dharma. At a given situation, at a given circumstance. What is Mukhya? What is the main? And there is The other aspect of dharma, which is gauna, that is not mukhya. Gauna is not mukhya. That may be incidental. So when these two aspects of dharma are there, and if they are not contradicting, it is easy to perform dharma. We can do both. But when contradiction is there, it is not that easy to handle. This is the practical problem in our life. Take the case of a teacher, a school teacher, a nice teacher. She used to teach in the class. She was such a model teacher, admired by all for her righteous views, impartial teaching. She was well admired by all others. But this year, her son also joined in that class. And now she came to the classroom. Last year, the number of students were 40. And this year, when she came in the class, she is seeing 1 plus 39 equals 40. Because one is my child, one is my son or my daughter. If that feeling is coming, the teacher within that person is dead. Because in the classroom, she is a teacher and teacher only, not a mother. Dharma of the mother is not the mukhya dharma there. It is not the mukhya dharma. The dharma of the teacher is the mukhya dharma. So if she is considering her son or daughter specially, if she is giving any special consideration to him or her, then teacher is dead. Sitting here, I can speak this. You can hear without any problem. But when the situation is our own and we are in that state, just imagine. So this is a practical problem. The fight between the mukhya dharma and gauna dharma. The main dharma and dharma, what is incidental to that, or subordinate dharma. When the fight is there, it is not easy to tackle the situation. So this was the problem with Arjuna. What is my mukhya dharma? What I have to do? Dharma of the warrior or dharma of the brother? Dharma of a kshatriya, dharma of a family member. This was the inner struggle. In the life of all human beings. As long as we are living in the society, and as long as we have the right to choose from the options which are around us or which are in front of us, this problem will persist. We are human beings, and we are a part of the society. So, of course, we have many aspects of dharma with us. The individual, the social, and within the social, connected with family, connected with the state, connected with the nation, connected with our own faiths and beliefs, religion, this, that. So many aspects are. So whenever there are fights in between these two aspects, two opposite sides, it is not easy to tackle. This is a very practical problem. And there is one more thing. See, we are human beings. In our life, who is controlling our life? Is it some Ishvara sitting in some heaven? No. We are controlling. We are the makers of our own future. It is not some gods above or below. Bhagavad Gita clearly teaches Atmaiva Hyatmano Bandhu, Atmaiva Ripura. And therefore, Uddhared Atmanatmanam, Natmanam Avasadayet. You are the maker of your own future. With your own thinking, your own activities, you are making your future. So you don't distract yourselves. And realize you are your own friend and your own enemy. So we have to live most constructively. And how is this possible? See, all the time in our life, in all the situations, many options are in front of us. We have the right to select. We have the right to select. Always it is with us, whether to choose this or this. Many options are in front of us. What we are choosing, so will be our life. And to choose, we have the intellectual capacity. If we cannot select by our own, there are many scholars in our society who can help us. But the process of selection that we have to, nobody else will do for us. So what we are selecting, so will be our life, so will be our future. So as long as this ability to select is there, in states of utter confusion like this, we must have a guide with us. A guide, one who will show the way. This is the course of action you have to take. And we can see such a guide, such a teacher, such a friend, all in one, in the personality or in the individuality of Bhagavan. And so, seeing Bhagavan in front of Arjuna, he approached Bhagavan and with all respect, submission, and surrender, he asked, "Oh Lord, please lead me. What is the course of action I had to follow? I cannot decide. I'm utterly confused. So please save me. Please show the path." And he surrendered before Bhagavan. And the Bhagavan, the very personification of knowledge, the embodiment of Veda, he gave the most practical teaching. The essence of Veda, in a lucid manner, in a most rational way, he presented the teaching. And that teaching is Bhagavad Gita. The meaning is that which was sung by Bhagavan. Bhagavata Giyate iti Bhagavad Gita. That which was sung by Bhagavan. So this is the song of the Bhagavan. And that piece of teaching was arranged in shlokas, 700 shlokas, in 18 chapters by Bhagavan Vedavyasa, and it was incorporated in the Bhishma Parva, as we have seen earlier. So, understand what was the problem, what was the difficulty Arjuna faced. And that problem, it is an everlasting problem. And we as human beings will have these like difficulties in our life. And therefore, the relevance of Gita is for all the human beings, for all the times. That is why even after 5,150 years, this Gita is standing as most relevant teaching, having largest number of commentaries. Bible is the text which is most translated. Bible is translated into many languages, and it is the number one text having many translations. But when commentaries are taken into account, Bhagavad Gita is the first text in the world. And even now, one after another, newer and newer commentaries are coming. Because this is that much pregnant with inner meanings. You dive deep into Gita, you will get many jewels and treasures. Of course, you will be satisfied. Again, when you contemplate again and again, then you will realize there are many more. And still we dive deep, then we will get newer and newer details. That is the greatness of this teaching, the Gita. So, with full Shraddha, let us learn this, or we can try to learn this. One after another shloka we will take, and we will have discussions. So this is not a one-way speech. We must have a discussion on this. So from our next class onwards, half the time we have to devote for question and answer session. And by such discussions, we can go more and more deeper into the teachings of the Gita. However, there are only 4 more minutes today. So even though if you want to ask anything, you can ask. We can go to the text in our next session.
We have one question from Kamalaji. Kamalaji?
Yeah.
Swamiji. The question is about the Vedas division. Last time said Karma Kanda, Upasana Kanda, Aranya Kanda, Vedanta, Upanishad. So some places they have said Aranya Kanda and Upanishad the same. So how do we understand?
See, when we divide Veda into kandas, there are 2 kandas, namely Karma Kanda and Jnana. There are 2 kandas, Karma Kanda and Jnana. Kanda means branch. Branch of a tree is called Kanda. So if we are considering Veda as a tree, Veda Kalpa Vriksha, it has 2 kandas, Karma Kanda and Jnana. And within Karma Kanda itself, there are mainly 2 parts. They are Samhita and Brahmana. Samhita and Brahmana. And Jnana Kanda is Upanishad. Jnana Kanda is Upanishad. So there is one more part which is called Aranyaka. See, this Jnana Kanda Upanishad, it is not a separate text always. For example, sometimes Upanishad will come as a part of Samhita. For example, Ishavasya Upanishad is a part of Samhita. Mundaka Upanishad, it is a part of Samhita. And in some places, Upanishad comes as a part of Brahmana. For example, Prashna Upanishad is a part of Brahmana. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad is a part of Brahmana. These are for the sake of example. And there are some texts where we cannot differentiate between this Brahmana and Aranyaka. And there are some texts where we cannot differentiate between Aranyaka and Upanishad text. But the knowledge or the inner teaching, that will be divided into Aranyaka and Upanishad. So generally, when we speak about kandas, there are only two kandas. They are Karma Kanda and Jnana Kanda. There is no doubt in that. And when we speak about the parts of Veda, not kandas, parts of Veda, they are Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka, and Upanishad. These four parts. So we must not confuse this part as kanda, because two kandas are there, Karma Kanda and Jnana Kanda. Some acharyas are of the opinion that we have to consider Upasana Kanda. And in their opinion, this Aranyaka makes this Upasana Kanda. So there are many such opinions. So the parts of Veda are Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka, and Upanishad. These are the four parts. And Kandas, Karma Kandas, and Jnana Kanda. As an appendix to Karma Kanda, Upasana Kanda is there, and there we will take this Aranyaka. This is the answer. Namaste.
Swamiji, we have one more question. Can we take that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know the name. 13FB. Can you just... Namaste. You're on mute.
Namaste.
Please unmute.
Yeah.
Namaste, Swamiji.
Namaste.
Swamiji, I don't know whether this is a childish question, but this question was always haunting me whenever I am with the stories of Mahabharata. So the question is,
No, I am not hearing properly. It is not audible.
This Mahabharata history, it has already happened.
Yes, Swamiji, the question is...
Namaste, Swami. Now can you?
Now it is clear. Now it is clear. Now it is clear.
Okay, yes, Swamiji. I don't know whether this is a childish question or not.
You can ask. You can ask. You can ask.
But whenever I am reading the stories of Mahabharata, this question always haunted me. That is why, considering this Mahabharata as a history, it has already happened in reality, isn't it? So, if we are considering the lady Kunti, she is having 5 husbands, right? So, how we can give a divine person, what do you say? How we can consider that lady a divine personality? Symbolically, I know all the meanings, but if a question is asked from friends, I am speechless. So, what should I?
I got it.
So,
see, yeah, I got it. See, Mahabharata is a very big canvas, very huge canvas it is. And Bhagavan Vedavyasa, he drew many pictures interrelated. And he put before us many personalities having sattvic qualities, having rajasic qualities, having tamasic qualities, or we can say many figures as the very embodiment of divine qualities, and many figures as the embodiment of asuric qualities. But even in persons with divine qualities, there are many asuric traits. And in asuric personalities, there are many divine qualities. So through this picture, Bhagavan Vedavyasa is giving a practical message to the whole world to be cautious in our life, to be vigilant in our activities and decision making, because even such divine personalities, even they committed mistakes. And there are many great qualities, noble qualities in persons whom we may normally consider as demonic. So this is the total message which Bhagavan Vedavyasa is giving through the pictures or representations of thousands of persons in this canvas. So this we have to keep in mind first. Second, Kunti is presented as a very courageous, dharmic personality, giving much values to dharma and a great Kshatriya character, having great Kshatriya character. But at the same time, Kunti is depicted as a human being with all plus and minus of human beings. Bhagavan Vedavyasa never claimed Kunti is a divine personality. No. How can we say? There is not even a single place where Kunti is depicted as a divine being. No. She was portrayed as a human being with all the plus and minus of human beings. But always she gave values to dharma. Now coming more focused to your question, Kunti never had many husbands. Never. Kunti had only one husband. And it was Pandu. It was Pandu. No 5 husbands, no 4 husbands. Only one husband. But in that marital relation, there was no children. Because Pandu cannot have a sexual relation with Kunti. But she had only one husband. But according to Dharma Shastra, and see, Dharma Shastra will change from time to time. Our present Dharma Shastra is the Constitution of India. In India, many are hearing this from America and Canada. Not for them, I am saying. In India, our Dharma Shastra is the Constitution of India. That is the present Smriti. So Smriti will get changed from time to time. So if see, even within 70 years, more than 100 changes came in the Constitution. That much amendments came. So this Dharma Shastra will go on changing. We cannot say this is a God-given law and it must sustain forever. No. all the social rules must change. And we have to accept the changes. So in those days, Dharma Shastra was that if a husband cannot procreate, then with his consent, underline, with his consent, a wife can approach a man, and the child she begets will be having the same right or equal right as the child of her husband. This is the rule. That is how we are calling Dharmaputra, Bhima, Arjuna, Nakula, and Sahadeva as Pandavas. Biologically, they are not Pandavas. They are not Pandavas. They are Kaunteyas. Not they are all are not Kaunteyas. Because Dharmaputra, Bhima, and Arjuna are Kaunteyas, and Nakula and Sahadeva are Madreyas. They are sons of Madri. But 5 are considered as Pandavas. Why? Because it was as per the sayings of Pandu, he approved, or he himself asked Kunti, "Oh Kunti, you have with you such a boon, so make use of it." And as per his saying, Kunti, she got Dharmaputra, Bhima, and Arjuna. And Madri got this Nakula and Sahadeva. So they are Pandavas. So Kunti never had more than one husband. And even if she had, just like the case of Panjali, take the case of Panjali, she had 5 husbands. What is wrong in that? Because dharma, social systems will vary. It will go on changing. When a practical problem comes, we have to find a solution. If that solution is mutually settled and acceptable for the concerned parties, and it is approved by sages, or in the present day society, by the highest court, then it is accepted. It happened in the case of Krishna, that is Panchali. Actually, Arjuna won Panchali. As per the rules, Arjuna got Panchali. But Arjuna's mother, without knowing what these Pandavas got, she ordered, Kunti ordered, what you got, you divide equally within you. All of you have the same right on what you got. So it was Panchali. So they were in a confusion what to do. It is the order of the mother. But even after having an order from mother, they were in utter confusion what to do. It was then sage Narada came. He was the knower of all the Shastras. He was the knower of Shruti, he was the knower of Smriti, all the Shastras he knew. It was the very manifestation of knowledge itself. And he understood this is a practical problem. And he suggested Panchali can be the wife of 5. You 5 people can be husbands of Panchali, and there must be some rules and regulations. You have to accept this. If she is the wife of number 1 this year, and she is pregnant, up to the next year, she will be the wife of the first, and on the 3rd year, she will be the wife of the second. In this course, it will happen. They all accepted, and they lived a happy life in all the troubles. See, their forest life without food, they were wandering here and there in the forest. Everywhere enemies. Nothing to eat, nothing to drink. But even in such situations, they lived with all love. They lived together. She never asked for divorce. I am going back. No. What sort of humiliations they faced? But they faced it together. Never asked for divorce. All the humiliations from Kauravas, especially Dushasana and Duryodhana. They met, they faced it together. In happy occasions, they were together. In crisis, they were together. They lived happy life. But we are still questioning how it is possible, how it is possible. They showed it is possible. They showed it is possible. And many a time people say this is not right. 1 woman and 5 men. And the same people will say 5 women and 1 man. It is all right. It is all right. There is nothing wrong. 1 man can marry 3 or 4 women. It is good. It is right. Whereas 1 woman can marry 4 or 5 men. It is wrong. It is wrong. How it is? Who is deciding all this? So these are things which will change according to situations. When some problems happens, we have to find out some practical solutions. If there is a problem, there is a solution. And that solution, it must stand the test of time. And here in the case of Panchali, it stood the test of time. This is the answer. And for more details, we must go to Mahabharata. Now we can conclude this session, and in our next sitting, we will continue. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.